GigaMe Instructor Live Sessions. Today, we take a session on optimizing system design, effective load balancing, API gateways, and caching strategies.
Hello.
Hey, hi, Vinaya.
Hi.
Shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, so do you have any development experience earlier?
Yeah.
Perfect. On which tech is that? May I know?
.NET Core, C# on the back end. So on the front end, I was working on React.js, but I also know jQuery, JavaScript.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I'll do is, for system design, basically when we develop any application, so we have to architect those applications, right?
Yeah.
So first I will go through each topic. I will list
Yeah.
here each topic, then we'll daily basis we'll go through each topic one by one, okay?
Okay.
And I will basically do coding in Node and Express and React.js.
Okay. So coding, you mean the
Yeah, I mean,
like
let's say if you need some kind of API gateway configuration, okay? So I'll
okay,
explain you through Node.js or Express. Same you can implement in your Node.NET Core. Yeah, but
okay,
syntax and those things will be changed.
okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So if you're already familiar with the development thing, then let me write down some topics which we'll cover in system design. I think you're already familiar with this client server architecture, right? First
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So we have multiple tier of client server architecture, one tier, two tier, and tier. So generally, when we develop application which follow some UI layer, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll have some backend layer, and then
Mm.
backend layer,
Database.
and then we have database layer. This is the simplest architecture, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So this is the client, then we have server, and then this is the app DB. Later on, you can add multiple layers in between, like caching layer somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll cover client server architecture, and then you already know the protocols, right? HTTP protocols, WebSocket protocols. These are, did you ever use this in development?
Yeah. I mean, I know HTTP, TCP, like UDP, and then
Yeah, so network protocol I will cover here. Then I will cover some um, like monolith architecture and microservice architecture. So which architecture did you work earlier?
yeah. I know both.
Okay, perfect. So my monolith and microservices. And yeah, in this network protocol itself, we'll cover some wave sockets topic as well.
Okay.
Okay, because HTTP connections are kind of request and response basis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always client has to make a request to get some response from the backend. So once we
Okay.
integrate the wave socket, whenever data will be present in server, they can emit. This is something also called server side events. Also, you can see.
Okay. Okay.
So this will cover in SSE part itself. Then once we develop this general architecture, then we can think about like how to scale our
Okay.
application, how to
Mm.
cache our application, right? And how to
Yeah.
distribute our loads of the
Yeah.
application, correct? So in
Yeah.
this part, basically, we'll cover the, you can say, all the terms like asynchronous, synchronous, mediator between Kafka and RabbitMQ, then proxies, what is the use of load balancer, then how routing works. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
basically we'll
So where
consider.
does the CDN comes
Yeah,
into
CDN, yeah,
picture?
CDN also, yeah, CDN also comes in that only.
Okay. Okay.
When you distribute your application networks, that term CDN will becomes.
Okay. So I was actually going through like few system design videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I know about like scaling. I mean, not in depth, but I know about the horizontal scaling, then vertical scaling, and then load balancer algorithms, and like few design patterns. So I mean, design patterns, everything I have worked on, so I know those stuff
Okay.
from. Yeah, but where do I need to start if I need to study? Like,
Yeah. So scaling, caching, load balancing. So are we talking on the cloud side, right? You
yeah.
mean
So
cloud?
if you ask me about the structure of a project, I can
Uh,
say like what are the projects present and what kind of database I have used, how do you connect between front and back end, what is the API architecture, these things I can talk about these things. But I do not have much knowledge on the server side, how we handle the like failures, um, like such topics.
okay. So do you have overall idea how your application has been deployed on any cloud provider?
Um,
So once you write the
not
code,
on cloud. I just know how we do the the normal server deployment. So
okay,
on
okay, then
cloud,
then then
I have done. I mean, I don't remember, but so we were deploying some Docker images. So I know how to create the Docker compose files and then create build pipelines. I only know those stuff,
hmm,
like
okay,
not on the high level. This system design, it's like high level, right?
correct, correct. Yeah, system design solution can be different from based on your requirement as well.
Yeah, project. Yes, yes.
Project, yes.
Yeah, and
So,
I don't have any knowledge on cloud. I'm very new to cloud.
okay. Um, okay, so could you please explain then your the recent project which you are working from end-to-end flow? I mean, from UI flow to server flow, and where you are pushing your codes, and from, let's say, any version control, from where this code goes
No,
actually.
it is in cloud. It is on cloud right now. I'm not working, but it is on cloud. The my previous project, it ended in August, so it was on cloud, but I did not do much on the deployment side. From UI, so we were actually creating services from the monolith application, and then so we were using the backend for front end pattern. All our UI stuff is like on the React JS. They're all micro front ends. So from there, uh, so between the services, we were using the gRPC services to communicate with each other, and then we were doing some NuGet package manager stuff on the backend. And we also had the we were not using API gateway as such, but we had the BFF that lacked between the services and the front end. So there you just do the like you get the data from service and then put it into view model and send that view model to front end. Then again get the request from front end and pass it to service.
Okay, perfect. So what I'll do is then, see, when you develop any project and while deployment time, basically the scaling, load balancer, API
Yeah,
gateway,
yeah.
you have to include when you deploy your application on any provider. That time you have to make these configurations. Okay,
Okay.
if you familiar with any cloud, let's say AWS is the simplest one. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Inside the AWS. So I'm giving you simple example. Okay, simple example. Let's say you have one .NET Core application or services. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you have one service. That service is called get all tasks. Okay, get all tasks function. Okay, so this basically fetch all the task from the DB and display to React table. Okay,
Okay.
let's say you develop this get all task API and you want to deploy this on cloud. So basically what we'll do, you will register your account inside the cloud, right? First, okay, inside the cloud you have to configure the some server, application server
Yes. Yes.
on AWS. So basically AWS followed the EC2, it's called the EC2 container
Instance. Like, okay.
instances. Yeah, first you will get
Azure. So on Azure it'll be.
on Azure. I'm not sure, I'm much familiar with the AWS. I'm a little bit on Google Cloud.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like most of the .NET guy use Azure, like we say, because from Microsoft, right?
Yeah, so .NET is Azure, yes.
Not in Azure.
But everyone asks for AWS. Do you have experience with AWS? And I don't know anything in AWS, but it's actually terms are different, but the purpose is same,
But
right?
you
The
will feel
services
it's
they
very
provide.
easy. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, other than means other cloud services, I compare like AWS is much easy and very easy to
Okay.
use as well.
Okay. And
No
I know
worries.
few topics with respect to like GCP. I took a internal training,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, so if you ask me on cloud, I'm very beginner. If you have any
No issues.
stage
Got
before
it.
beginner, I am that.
Yeah, that's why I'm just explaining the flow, how
Yeah.
any, let's say, newcomers will join and develop any application, how they will deploy, and then he will think about the scaling and all. Let's say
Yeah,
this
yeah.
get,
So
let's
how
say,
do we start? Uh, let's go to deployment later. How do
hmm.
you start on a cloud?
Yeah, that's what I'm explaining you. Let's say, see, while development get all task function, you will write one function, right? Nothing,
Oh,
because that
yeah.
time you will not think how many users will use, million of users or billion of users, right?
Yes,
Let's say you
yes.
simply write one function, get all tasks, and that point of time, I don't have any clue how many users will use it. Correct?
Yeah.
As for now. So then what will happen when when we deploy this function to AWS container, okay, here. So let's say people, 10 people started using get all task function, okay, get all
Okay.
task function. Suddenly people increase, let's say 1,000 people, when 10,000 and billion something, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now what will happen, performance of your application will be here effect, because
Yeah.
maybe he will not get response as early, okay.
Yeah.
And then you will think about all those things regarding the performance of how to scale, how to
Mm-hmm.
distribute the loads. Then what we'll do is, the application which you deployed on some container, this you have to replicate, okay. Same EC2 instance you have to replicate. Let's say I want to create now 10 containers, so you have to be you have to configure this EC2 in such a way that it will auto replicate or auto kind of scale. Let's say 10, please create 10
Okay.
EC2. So then automatically 10 EC2 will be created, and these codes will be deployed here, here, okay. And
Okay.
in between 10 container, you have to place one kind of load balancer. That also option you have to configure while configuring the server. You need to put load
Mm-hmm.
balancer or not. So basically load balancers will follow the round robin algorithm, and it will distribute the traffics. Let's say if
Yeah.
somebody try to access this server, then if this server is free, load balancer will send the traffic to here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Load balancer will send traffic to here. So these things will come when you deploy some small piece of function as well, and then if you try to see. So I will explain you these things through coding as well. I will write simple
Okay. Okay.
node express
Okay.
code, and in node
Okay.
express code itself I will create one load balancer. Then you will see we have three node server, and all these three node server will communicate in such a way that your traffic will be distributed,
Okay.
okay. And did you use caching in your application?
Yeah. But uh, on which level? Like on what level?
I mean, first, I mean, what is the use of caching?
Uh, so you can have the data in the cache and don't have to call the request all the time.
So
You
how
can
how did
fetch
you
the data from. So
Hmm.
I don't know how they have done in recent project, but in one of the projects, I have implemented local storage used in the Angular JS. So that was a single page application. So on the click of first tab, we used to get all the data related to that particular tab and put it in the browser cache, put it in the local storage, some object. And then when you navigate to other tabs, you pass that local storage variable to the in the constructor of the other classes and then read from there and bind it to the controls.
Okay.
So this is at the coding level.
Hmm. Yeah, so browser storage are just used to store a small piece of information. I think less than 5 MB you can store.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's why what I'll do is I will go with the topic wise. That will be more clear. Otherwise,
Yeah,
randomly
yeah,
if you pick
that's
any topic.
no, I'm not going to randomly pick topics, but if you can do it from the basic, like the see, you asked about caching, but
Hmm.
I know only from the coding perspective,
Yes, yes.
not on the cloud share or any other term that is there.
Yeah, that's why. So see, basically when you implement caching now, when you implement caching, I don't know about the on Node, sorry, on .NET side which package you have to use, but if
Okay.
you go with in Node side technology, we have
Hmm.
Redis. You have to install Redis package. Redis is a
Okay. Yeah,
cache server.
I have. Yeah, I have heard of it. Redis cache. Yeah.
So once you install the Redis package, what actually this Redis package will do is Redis package, through this Redis package, you can create your temporary kind of storage in server itself. Okay,
Okay.
temporary storage, and this will store in key value pair. Let's say you have users data. Okay, you have users data in array with ID of one, roll number, something. Okay, so this
Okay.
users key I will create here, and I will store this data here
Hmm.
in cache. So when let's say React server, when my React server make a request to my backend server, okay, inside the backend server I will, let's say, requesting get of users. Okay, get of all users. Okay,
Hmm.
when React server make a request to get all users to backend server, so now backend server, from where backend server will get this data? Tell me. From backend server, where it will goes? It will go to DB query, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we have MongoDB. So first time backend server will get the data from the MongoDB, and if users found, backend server job is to update the cache layer. Okay, so
Okay.
backend server will place these users inside the cache server as a key users, some key, using some
Okay.
key. Okay, now next time again, let's say React application makes a call to get users. This time backend server will first go to cache and it will check, hey, do we have users available here? It will tell yes, I have users. Then just return from here to the to front end. No need to
Okay.
go here.
Okay. Instead of, yeah,
Yes,
database, it's going to check on.
automatically performance will increase here because the DB calls are very costly, and you can say DB calls taking much time, right, while performing the
Yeah. Yeah.
operations.
Yes.
And inside this Redis also we have two technique, that is called cache hit and cache miss. Okay, cache hit means if anything found, it called cache hit, means the data is available. If anything
Hmm.
miss, it is called cache miss. Then backend server will go for DB server. Otherwise, it won't go.
Okay.
Okay. In caching layer also we have multiple step layer. Let's say this is simple application. So simple cache I have implemented. But cache also can be distributed server.
Hmm.
Distributed means cache server also might be distributed for 10 times or 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay,
Based on the load.
based on
Yeah.
your load.
Yeah.
So at that time you need to update. This is the responsibility of backend server to update the cache frequently.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so do one thing, means you can start one POC as well. If you are good in .NET Core, then you can implement the cache and try to implement simple users data with React, your .NET Core, and apply the cache layer in between. At least you
Okay.
will get hands-on the coding side.
Start. Go. Create caching. Okay.
Yeah, just
With Redis cache or
yeah, any cache based on appropriate for .NET package.
okay, I will check. Okay.
See, implementation of .NET Core, introducing of cache, what is cache, type of cache, cache implementation.
Yeah, okay, I will check that.
Yeah, please. It should be more clear then once you develop something through your code.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Other
Yeah.
than .NET, I will surely help you on Node Express.
Okay. I will stick to .NET for now because Node.js is new to me. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So first, today we'll start with the basics of client server. Okay.
Hmm.
So in client server architecture also, this is the simplest diagram of client to talk to our server, and then we have DB. This you already know about this, so we'll not talk about much this client and server, and then we have DB. But in client server also, if you read about this client server architecture, it depends on your application logic. Sometimes you have to create uh, most of the logic inside the client application and most of the logic inside the server application. Okay, so technically term given by when you design anything, you can term it as a, hey, please design the thin client application. Thin client means your application is thin client means logic will be less in the client side, most of the logic will be placed inside the server side. Okay.
Okay.
Thin like simple e-commerce application. In e-commerce application we don't have much logic in client side. Everything is handled on server, like payment, right?
Yeah.
Payment, cart, and creation of products, searching of the product, everything handled on server.
Yeah.
Similarly,
And
yeah.
if you also take in .NET, right?
Hmm.
So the filtering, everything, if you work on the data set on the back end and just send the data set to JavaScript or jQuery, it is more efficient than doing the filtering, sorting everything on the front end.
Correct, correct. Yeah, so this is the requirement. I mean, this is the best use case. Like you can tell, anyhow, whenever you develop application, the validation should be done and everything should be done in the backend side.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have different terms also called thick client also.
Mm-hmm.
When we call thick client, when we have logic that need to implement in client only, much of the parts of logic. Like if you see the gaming application, right, or any kind of image compressing application,
Mm-hmm.
right? Image
Yeah.
drag and drop wala code, those parts only client will handle.
Okay.
Like gaming, if I move from here to here through canvas, so these logic you can't handle in backend, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to handle in front end side. So those applications are called thick client application. Why? Because most of the logics are written inside where? Client side. Clear hai?
Okay. Yeah.
Now when the client and server talks, so what it follows, tell me. Basically client make a request to
Request
server.
response.
Yes, request response cycle. Correct na?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically client server architecture, you can say the messages are exchanged via the protocols. Now means we have some protocols, then only we can follow the response request response cycle. Protocols means set of rules through which the client and server has to talk.
Mm.
Correct.
Yes.
So basically it's follow the TCP protocol,
Mm. Yeah.
transfer control protocol. Why transfer control protocol? Because if you follow the transfer control protocol here, the data which you send from one point to another point, the data order will be also maintained. Those are comes under the TCP protocols.
Okay.
Because let's say if you upload any image, so it's not full image will be uploaded, part by part will be sent to server, right? Like this, like this, like
Mm.
this, like this. And on each packet will have the header information. This is called request header. Header means like packet name, destination address, anything. So once this all packet will reach at destination, then whole packets will be again assembled together to create full image. So how this assembling works? Based on the header information present on the packets. Okay, that's why we will use TCP protocol. TCP is transfer control protocol, have much information about your packet transmissions.
Okay.
Clear hai ye?
Yeah. Yeah.
And inside this TCP protocols, basically we follow either HTTP connection or HTTPS connection, right?
Mm.
But
Secure.
using,
Yeah.
yeah, HTTPS is secure, HTTP is not secure. But but disadvantage of these HTTP and HTTPS are, it is called hyper text transfer protocol. Hyper means anything which will reference some other resources, right? So
Yeah.
hypertext transfer protocol. If you make a connection through HTTP, what will happen? Always client has to make a request to server, then only server respond. Correct, na?
Yes.
Otherwise, server automatically don't know what I need to send until unless client make a request. Clear?
Yeah.
So in this HTTP architecture, you client always has to make a request. So you will know,
Yes.
yeah. So you will notice in some cases, in some times, let's say you develop one application in React, like list of users I'm displaying here, list of users in table format. Okay, and you have written one API in .NET Core to get all the users, get all users. So until unless this React application don't make a request, and your .NET application will not send a response, right? But what I need is, let's say in between some admin users updated the users data. Then what I'll do to get the latest data? Tell me. What what I need to do to get latest data here?
Need to send the request again.
Again, right? It
Yeah.
means clients has to make a request.
Yes.
So, do you know any technique how I will get updated data apart from this request, apart from to making any request?
Cache,
No, so cache is just you can say it will
like
give you
storage.
the yeah, one latest means some kind of performance for you can implement cache.
I don't know. How do you get latest data without refreshing?
So, do you know a polling concept,
No.
right? Yeah, let's see. So, whenever you develop application, first simple thing is HTTP will make a request and response cycle. But at some times, what will happen? Server admin side user update the server data, so client has to make a request. So one simple thing is, inside the client side you will write a code for polling.
Okay.
Polling means after some interval your client make a request always. Let's say I have given interval is 10 seconds. So
Oh,
in
okay. Got it.
yes, in 10 seconds always, in this interval client always make a request to check, hey, do you have data, please send me, like that. Again, it's a request or a response cycle itself, but this code I have placed inside the polling inside some intervals. Okay,
Yeah. Like set interval method.
yeah. Now tell me, if I use this kind of polling, what will be disadvantage? Think and tell me.
Performance?
Means performance in terms of what? I mean,
It'll
which
slow down the application, right?
but in which scenario you're telling slow application? I just want to know why it will slow.
So let's say I'm working on something
Mm-hmm.
and on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So if the data gets refreshed in between when I'm working, it's not effective, right?
Mm.
If it's not asynchronous.
Yeah. Or why not we can say, let's say in each interval, if client make a request, right? So if let's say no updates on server, then what will happen? Right?
Yeah.
In each interval, if I make a request and that point of time, let's say I called 5 times in 5 interval, but still there is no data on server. Means unnecessary 5 calls happen, right?
Yes.
So it means whenever I am requesting something from someone, so why not we should implement those functionality, like the sender should inform me, hey, I got data, right? So in this case, we'll implement either WebSockets or either we implement server side event or server sent event mechanism.
Okay.
So please keep in mind, whenever you develop application, the initial stage of developing is HTTP protocols, right? Then
Yes.
at beginner level, you can enhance with polling mechanism in client side. Okay, client side polling. Client side polling means this is interval bala code. Okay.
Okay.
Later, you can think about performance. Then you have to implement the server sent event mechanism. Server sent event mechanism means you have to make a stream connection between client to server, and whenever server has data, server will send an event to your client. Hey, I have data
Okay.
now. Something.
Yeah. Then we call the method. Okay.
Yeah, this is called server sent or server side event. You can say server sent event.
Okay.
Okay. In
Okay.
server send event, how this works is, in server send event, let's say this is your server application and this is your client application. So client and server will connect it through a stream. Okay.
Okay.
In a stream, what will happen? Server will send an event like got data, something. Let's say got data event. Okay. And in
Okay.
got data event, let's say this is payload, this is data ID of one, status is something true. Okay, any data I am sending, just raw data. Okay.
So yeah, this is called payload.
Yes, this
Okay.
is called payload. Perfect.
So
So client,
yeah,
yeah.
I have come across that payload a lot of times. I was like, what is payload? I did not read about it, but okay.
Payload means anything which you are passing as a data to
Okay.
either single source of truth. Like in, if you have used React JS, inside the React, if you use Redux, that time you have to pass payload. Or in request
Okay.
body also, basically terms request body data is called payloads itself.
Okay.
Okay. So then this payloads data, this is the event name, and same event name you have to implement in client side, something like stream dot on means event received. Okay. Or
Okay.
in server you have emit means event generated.
Okay.
Okay. So through emit you can generate event, and through on you can receive event. Got it?
Yeah.
Important is whatever event you will send from here, same event you have to declare, then it will match, right? Got data, and here you have to
Yeah.
receive this data as a params, something, any parameter, let's say p params, or so whatever you will pass, those will become here. So if you have latest data, then you can update your state in React.js, right?
Yes.
So this is called something server sent event.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you implement server
So
sent
what?
event,
So
yeah.
this is different from WebSocket.
Yeah, this is different from WebSocket, you can say.
Okay.
WebSockets means always connection will be open and closed. Means
Mm-hmm.
opens. If you make any
Mm.
connection, it will be open always.
Okay.
Like WhatsApp application works on WebSocket itself.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
You can just open the WhatsApp and you can check in desktop mode. Whenever you send a message, now it will, or if it will add this WSS double colon flag for
Mm-hmm.
WebSockets.
Okay.
And for
Okay. I'll check
HTTP, we
that.
have HTTP.
Okay.
Okay. For event we have same HTTP connection, get request, but the parameter will be here event stream, something,
Okay.
text slash event stream. Okay. So now I think you got the clear picture. Whenever you make a request response, in how many ways we can implement it, right?
Yeah.
And you already familiar with the HTTP verbs method, get, post, put, delete, patch, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that things.
Yeah.
Okay. And any idea about course issues?
Ah, cross origin request.
Yeah, this is abbreviation, but what is course exactly?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember.
Nice. No issues. So see, that's
I
why
I
when,
I have
yeah, yeah,
I know about it, but now I don't remember.
no issue. So when you develop any application, did you ever face these issues or not? First question.
Yeah, I have seen it on browser. Like
Then
I
what you
I
did
was
to fix it?
I don't remember. So I was actually doing a personal project and I had this issue. Then I don't know, I got deviated. I went to something else.
Okay, so let me explain in detail. Now you will not forget ever.
Yeah.
So course means cross origin resource sharing. Okay. When you have two applications, one is, let's say, front-end application, okay,
Okay.
and one is back-end application. This backend is running on, let's say, http / local host of port number 7000. Okay, let's say.
Okay.
And this front is running on, let's say, local host of 3000. Okay.
Okay.
So we have two different origin here, because this is running on local host 3000 and this is running on local host 7000, right?
Yes.
This is called cross origin, means different origin.
Okay.
Clear hai ye?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we have cross origin application, that time if frontend will send a request to server and frontend accept a response from the server, but this is not actually happen. Browser restrict this connection.
Okay.
Browser.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now I remember. Yes. So I was making an API call and I got this error.
Yes. Browser restrict this connection because you can't allow, right, in somebody's house without permission. Correct, na?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, but why browser restrict? How browser knows? So whenever you make a request from client to server, the very first method is called options method. Okay, like if you make any request like get users, post users, delete users, before these methods, one methods always make a call options methods. Okay.
Okay.
Options methods check, do you have proper permission to make this request or not on server. First, so browser send a method check, something you can say browser send a check method to server, then server send a proper response in header that hey, now you have allowed into my system. Okay, those are called access permission. So basically inside the course inside the course basically we have allowed methods header. Okay, and then allowed origin things. Okay, if allowed method is only get and post, so only get and post you can make a call from client to server. Other method you can't make a call, like delete and patch or whatever put. Okay. Inside the allowed origin, if I say localhost 3000, only localhost 3000 make a call. Okay.
Okay.
So in place of this, basically if you mark star, means from anywhere anyone can make a request. So that's why whenever you develop the application where you have to make a allowed origin as a whitelist kind of things, which IP you want to enable it.
Okay.
Okay. So if something, yeah, go ahead.
Can just explain this again? I'll just
see. So basically,
when I hit a request to the server, before the request method, we check whether we have the access. So
yeah,
how is it done? Is it internally done or
yes,
do we write code for it?
This is done by browser itself.
Okay.
Let me do quick things here. Wait. Okay, let me do quick one. So yeah, I was explaining the course issues. I will show you the demo, okay, through this tomorrow, because this is.
Yeah, that's fine.
But general idea is about course. This board is sometimes not working. Yeah, so see what I explained you, client and server. So you know the methods, right? We have get methods, post methods, put methods, delete methods, patch methods, right?
Yeah.
Then options methods. So options method job is to check, okay, like do you have proper access for this service or not from backend. So whenever you make any request, get, post, put, delete, patch, the first method will always call which method? Options method.
Okay.
Okay, and options method will check the proper access origin, proper allowed methods are properly set or not. Then using this option method, basically server send a response with response header. This is called response header information. Okay. Inside the response header, we have these things: allowed methods flag and allowed origin flag. Okay. And max age also, sometimes timing also mentioned. Allowed
Okay.
method may, which method you want to allow: post method, put method, get method, delete method. So whatever the methods allowed, those only methods you can make a call from your React application to your server application. Okay.
Okay.
And allowed origin basically tells from where which application can make a request. Like React application, so you have to mention localhost 3000. Okay. If you are developing
Okay.
in
Okay.
local,
So where
then
do you add that?
in backend
The,
side, in backend side,
I
in
mean,
server side, you have to write
where
this piece of
exactly?
code. In server,
Okay,
let's say
like
you are
in
in,
the
let's say you are in .NET Core application.
JSON.
Yeah, whichever is the main file for you in .NET Core, there you
Like
have to
from
make
where we
this.
pick the like let's say there is a
Uh,
app settings JSON, right? Where you get the connection string.
wait. That's why I'm a little bit in not .NET, but I will tell you in Node Express I have written. But okay, let me search for .NET. .NET add course code. See here. Configure service. Okay, here you have to add service.add course, add policies, my policy builder, builder.allow any origin, allowed any methods, allow any header, like this. Okay, then whenever you make a request, then see here they are using app.use course my policy because they have defined the my policy on top here. See, right?
Okay, got it, got it.
So once you enable your app course, then you can use your everything later here after this line.
Okay, check how
Okay,
to
so see this route level also you can do route of API of controller, enable course my policy, because my policy now have clear picture what methods, what origin they have enabled, right?
Okay. So I actually got this question in one of the interviews last year. I had
Uh,
no idea how to do it.
yeah, because I think freshers now getting these kind of questions.
Hmm.
Course, voila. See, so this is the headers actually I'm talking about. Access control allow methods header, get, post, put, patch, delete.
Okay, yeah, I
Access
have seen
control
this.
allow headers, these things.
Okay.
So until unless you won't allow these things in your code, you can't make a request from front end to back end. It will throw error. Access control allowed is an error.
Okay.
Clear hai ye now?
Yeah.
So then interview will also ask, hey, where we have to add code? In browser side or client server side? You always tell in server side. Okay, because
Okay.
then
Okay.
because then now you can ask question, then how browser knows like we have allowed now or we have to
Yeah.
make it, because these informations are comes under the response header
Okay. Okay.
from the first method, options method. So when the browser receive the headers means what? Information about
Yeah,
application,
header.
right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
then the next request if browser makes, it will always acceptable, because at that point of time inside the headers those information will be present.
Okay.
Okay, that's why the server has to add this code and send back it to through response dot headers. Clear hai course issues?
Yeah.
In single origin there is no issues. If your front end and back end is running on single server, then there is no issues.
Okay.
This issue always happen when you have cross origin,
Yeah.
means your front end is running on different server and back end running on different server, then only.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So definitely that will happen with React.js.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So course is fine. So just for today, what you can do is two things, please do. Okay, develop simple API and enable the course. Just check for course in .NET side. Okay.
Yeah.
And then second is cache. Try to implement these two things by your own. You will feel like now you are progressing through architect level.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just a small thing I've given you for today's assignment.
Yeah.
Everything you can do with coding, so don't worry. Even when I explain you load balancer, API gateway, caching.
Yeah. Okay.
uh,
Good. Okay.
So see what is happening in system design. Let's say you implemented load balancer. Same load balancer you have to implement on your DB side as well, because
Hmm.
DB also should be scaled, right?
Yeah.
You scaled your application server, then what about DB server? So once
Okay.
you clear picture have like for scaling in application server, you can also scale your DB server. We'll come on that part later on DB side. First, we'll complete the front end and application server very well. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, then let's meet tomorrow. But please
Uh,
implement these two. And if issues, then let me know.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Then bye.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Want to stay updated and learn more? Follow us on social media.